March 6, 2023, Marcus Giovanni here. News, politics, 2023, Denver mayoral race meet all candidates. Now, when you think about all the candidates, they've all been indexed as being the same people, spewing the same thing, destroying property values, wanting to put homeless in jail, not ever dealing with the source problems. Never. Because they don't want to fix it. Just like there's no money in cures. Think about it. You have a major investment stock with pharmaceutical companies, and they find a cure for diabetes. How many people would be out of business? How many doctors would be out of being a doctor for diabetes? Same with muscular dystrophy and all this stuff. There's a cure, folks. And it's bottled somewhere up in a safe place that we'll never see it. Why? Because there's no money in cures. There'll never be a cure. Figure out when the last time we cured anything. And the last thing they did have, when they told us to ignore the science and listen to guys like Fauci, I mean, that's how you know that there's a God. I mean, we got taken for a major ride in front of a lot of people. And a lot of countries didn't do it, but we don't talk about those countries that didn't lock down because it wouldn't fit the narrative. And so that's where we're at now. The majority of every single politician running for office in the 2003 Denver municipal elections are going to be indexed what they deserve. And that's a fact. And because their IT people don't tell Leslie Herod, who's a woman who's been indexed as someone that has no allegiance to anybody. When you're running two different races, telling people two different things, and then using money from one excuse me, one campaign from the other, and then you got Andy, 33-year-old, never really lived life. He was in the Army, but that doesn't mean he's lived life. He had good credit, so he went and bought a business in Arvada. And then GOP thinks they're going to elect this guy because everybody's hedging their bet on the Democrats. And when I went and sued Paul Lopez because I knew that even if I handed in 1,000, they would have said, well, he was too short. Just like they said I was 123 invalid signatures. So 123 people illegally signed my petition. No. Maybe because their signatures couldn't be read because it was 5 degrees outside. It was freezing outside. And the people that got the ballots, they're all part of the ballot brigade, man. They just called up their people and their party and they sign away. This is why Mayor Spear came up with the Spear Amendment, that we'd be non-political. And we're far from non-political, folks. And when you have Mayor Hancock teaming up with Lori Lightfoot, who just got axed from Chicago, they've had enough. People have had enough. But Denver hasn't had enough. So when it runs out of all of its friends, and God, how come NerdWallet can't help us? How come nobody? Because you're indexed as an illegitimate government on February 6, 2023, in the highest location that you could possibly be, in courtroom 414, Judge Andrew Luxon, City Attorney Michelle Horn told the judge when I asked about the Spear Amendment, she said, and I quote, "We haven't enforced that law in years," which rested my case pretty much in regards to how they established the authority for 60 years. And what I had to prove is because if you look for the last 12 years, nobody even talked about it. No media, no politicians, nobody. So it was all pretty much just a piece of paper that I took a picture out of a book that means nothing to anybody, to a mayor that died in office. Don't tell me there ain't no God.